but I wanted something that I could just cat around town, get on and off real quickly. I don't regret my decision one bit. Hey, good morning. How's everybody doing today? It is Sunday. A little chilly. It's about maybe 55 degrees, I would say. But I'm gonna go out here and do it anyway because it's sunny, as you can see. Nice sunny day, and it is a Sunday. I thought this might be the perfect time to talk about this scooter. I know I've talked about it many times. I've had it for a few years now. This is a 2021 Honda ADV 150. If you are not familiar with my channel, my name's Scott. I bought this bike a couple years ago because I had motorcycles when I was younger. I've ridden many motorcycles, but I wanted something that I could just cat around town, get on and off real quickly without being a big production, you know? And this is the perfect bike for that. So I want to talk a little bit about why I bought this thing. Like I said, I've done some reviews on it before, but in a nutshell, now that I've had it for a couple years, I can tell you that I don't regret my decision one bit. I mean, it looks like a motorcycle, kinda, you know. It's not the traditional step through like you'd find on a Vespa scooter. It has a little higher stance, so it's really not that hard to throw your leg around it. You know, you can kind of do that still, but I go up and over because it's a little easier. Yeah, it's 150cc from the front. Kind of looks like a motorcycle, right? There you go. I got some add-ons and stuff. I put some decals. This is an aftermarket windshield. Got a little 180 rear view thing there. And I haven't really done, other than that, I haven't had any major upgrades to it. Everything's stock, just cosmetic stuff that I've really put on it. Yeah, I'm real happy with it. The thing about a scooter, you got the storage under here, which is, to me, brilliant. You can put a whole helmet under here. And I have put my helmet under here, but the problem is I always got this contraption on here with the camera and everything. So, but my helmet does actually fit down in here. I have videos on that, but you got to remove all this crap, so I don't really do it. But yeah, it's got storage, so you don't have to have, like, you know, saddle bags and stuff. You can add bags to this very easily, and you can put a mount back here, a rack. And you can put a box. The easy thing about this, there's no complicated process. You have basically, let me show you this. You have a key fob, okay? And I've been over that in plenty of videos. And when you have your key fob within about, I think, 3 foot distance, you basically turn on the ignition and put your kickstand up, and it starts. And you go. It's twist and go, right? So there's no complicated shifting. You don't have a shifter. This is a full automatic CVT transmission. So let's ride a little bit. So yeah, it's basically twist and go. So for any of you that are maybe interested in a bike next year and you're getting tired of the heavy motorbikes, you know, I have a lot of comments that come around that say, yeah, I'm kind of getting to the age where I don't want to get the Harley out anymore, or the big heavy bike. I sold that years ago, and now I want to get just on 2 wheels again, and I just want to cat around town, and that's exactly what I do. And the maneuverability of this thing, because this bike actually weighs right around 300 pounds. So you can maneuver on this thing. I'm just going in a circle here. Now you can't, that's hard to do on any bike, especially a big heavy bike. So you got the maneuverability, you have ease of use. This thing is light, and there's cons about some things of being light. Like if you want to use this as a commuter bike, you got to make sure that what your application is. I've said it before, if you're going to ride on the highway, since you got a 300-pound bike, you're going to get some wind sometimes, the crosswinds, and that might be a little challenging to keep it still. It's not that bad, but if you got a really heavy windy day and you get that crosswind, especially if you're going over a bridge, yeah, that's a little tricky sometimes. But it all depends what you want. I mean, if you want a bike just to commute and you don't live far away from work, this would be probably a good choice. Now, with that said, what about the cost factor? This was around $5,000 right out the door. That included tax and title. And I'm finding scooters like this are very difficult to find because a lot of places don't have stock anymore. And if they don't have stock and they're hard to get in, well, there you go. That presents a problem trying to buy one, right? So you can look on the used market if you're looking for like an automatic bike like this. Maybe Suzuki Bergman, like a 400 or something. Now those go a little faster. This thing goes, I've had it up to 67 miles per hour, and that's the max. When you get up to 67 miles per hour on this thing, you feel it hitting on, it's just the limit of the belt, the pulley system and stuff. You can't go any faster. So not unless you get upgraded rollers and stuff. They make that kind of stuff, but it always makes me laugh when people buy a scooter like this and then they realize, wow, this thing only goes 67 miles an hour. Well, you know, buy something that you know ahead of time how fast it goes, okay? That's just common sense. But unfortunately, some people make the mistake and they buy something without really researching it, and then they realize, oh my gosh, it only goes 67. Well, hell, I drive on the highway, so that's going to be rough. So, you know, you got to research it a little bit. 67 max, and I don't like going that fast anyway, even though it can do it. I don't use this to commute on highways. I didn't buy it for that purpose. So you got to really know before you buy something, hey, what am I going to use it for? Am I going to use it for commuting? Am I going to use it just for little jaunts around the city and stuff? So know your application. Because if you don't know your application, it makes it really challenging to know what the heck to buy. And there's plenty of good scooters on the aftermarket, you know, the used market that you can get into. I think people are selling these like a couple years old now. If I were to sell this right now, I paid it off a while back because I didn't want that accruing interest, you know. I did finance it initially through Honda Finance, but I paid it off a couple months ago. I just put the rest off, you know. Now I don't have a monthly payment anymore. It was only like 88 bucks a month or something, but still I was paying interest. So I'm like, that's silly, just pay it off if you have the money, you know. So I paid it off. If I were to sell this right now, I don't know what I would ask for it because I didn't do a lot of upgrades to it. I paid $5,000, so a couple years old, maybe I would ask like, I don't know, $3,500. I'm thinking might be fair. I don't even know. I'd have to see what people are selling them for, but I'm not going to sell it, so sorry about that. I'm going to keep her, and I'm just going to cat around and enjoy the summers, and I might stretch my legs a little bit longer. I mean, hell, you could ride this around across the country if you really wanted to. There's no reason you couldn't, but just keep in mind you have a limit as far as speed, and it's so light. The nice thing about it is this bike right here, this bike gets about 100 miles per gallon. Is that crazy or what? So if you want a bike that you can put like a you know, I think it's like a 2-liter tank or something. I have to look at the specs, but man, you can run around on this like for a week or two. And that's heavy use. So I only have to fill this thing up every couple months or something because I don't ride that often. But yeah, so 100 miles per gallon on this thing. Is that crazy or what? But a lot of smaller motorbikes get that kind of performance, but these small scooters like this do even better. If you get a big heavy motorcycle, you know, you might only get 50 miles per gallon or something, you know. I've ridden all kind of other bikes, and you can go back through my videos to see some of the demos I did, and some of those were still getting pretty good gas mileage, even the motorbikes, bigger motorbikes. But the real big heavy ones, you're still not that great. on miles per gallon. So if you want a good bike that you can ride forever on and get about 100 miles per gallon, you might consider something like this. Like I said, had an itch. Like I said, I get a lot of comments from people that are past the age of wanting a big, heavy, complicated motorcycle with gears, clutch, and all that stuff, and they're like, but you know what, I kind of miss getting out there and riding still. And that was the same with me. I had a Suzuki in my early 20s, but I wanted to get back out there on the road, and I said, you know, I don't really want to deal with shifting and stuff and a big, heavy, loud, complicated bike. So I'm like, you know what, maybe I'll just consider a scooter. And that's how it started. And I was watching a lot of other videos about scooters and just learned about the ADV 150, and I'm like, wow, that's a pretty cool looking bike, because it does have a nice kind of sporty look. It's more aggressive. Doesn't really look like a scooter per se. So I just call it an automatic adventure bike. I mean, you can label it anything you want, right? But yeah, 150cc. Now this has the disc front brake, and it's got the rear drum brake, okay? So I think that's plenty good. Now, other countries, you'll have a dual disc brake on this bike, because people that ride these things in Asia and stuff, Thailand, Philippines, Indonesia, they have the dual disc brakes because they're just the demand for those is higher. I would say here in America, a bike like this is not what you're going to buy for a general commuting bike. It's more of a fun bike, just something that you get on and do what I do. I guess you could call it more of a toy. So therefore, in the US markets, they're not going to deck these things out like they would the Asian markets, because in those countries, that's their only means of transportation. So they need stuff to last a little bit longer and go through the wear and tear. So that's why you'll see dual brakes, disc brakes on the ones over in Asia. And that's what the reason for it is that they just, it's just those people expect it because that's on every bike over there, right? They wouldn't buy it if it didn't. Front disc brake, which is fine if it's not really, even if it's a daily commuter, I think front disc only is fine. I've never had a problem with the braking system whatsoever. This one has ABS in the front. Again, did I need that? No, I didn't buy it because it had ABS. It just came with it. I would never think I would ever remotely use ABS for any reason, because I don't ride it year round. I don't ride it in the snow or the rain. But it's a nice feature to have. Mine's never kicked in yet, my ABS. I've just never had to slam on my brakes that hard to do that, and I really don't want to test that right now anyway. You got the LED lights that are pretty good. You can put aftermarket lights on this, and that's what I would do. I would probably get some type of what do you call it, like the front cage for, I think there's a mounting thing, and then I've seen people put like two spotlights on the front, and that gives it more visibility in the front. I always ride with my high beams on, as you can see, because people see it better. You're just a small little narrow plane to them, and they don't see you. So therefore I ride with my brights on or my high beams because I want that visibility. So yeah, it's got the floorboards, you know, which are nice. You can put your feet up here when you're riding, a little more comfortable. You can mess with the handlebars. I think I kind of moved mine one direction because you can take these 4 bolts off here, and you could really make the bike to fit your body style. Now, I'm a shorter inseam. I only have like a 30-inch inseam, okay? So with that said, it's comfortable for me because my legs aren't super long. Now, if you were like 6 foot tall or more, 6 foot, 6'5", you may feel a little cramped on this bike. But again, there's people that are taller that do ride it. So you got the floorboards right here. Put your feet up here. I've even seen where they have this frame and they mount these like footrests here that come out up here. So that's pretty neat. But yeah, this whole thing is so easy to maintain. The maintenance on this thing, I have maintenance videos on it. There's your oil dipstick fill, and I have oil change videos on this and everything. But really, you don't have to put a lot of maintenance into this thing. Just keep your fluids good to go, and then you're set. The fuel tank is right here if you're new to the channel. Right there's your fuel. Easy enough. And I know I'm going to miss a lot of stuff, but it's got the Showa shocks, and it's really considered kind of a cross between an off-road and an on-road bike. But I just get on this thing and boom, I'm gone. It's very easy. You just turn it on and you go. So this is exactly what I like to do. I've never been back here before in my life, but it's nice because you can get on a bike like this and you don't have to be, it's not loud. This is a very quiet bike. There's some people that say that they're afraid of riding a quiet bike because people can't hear you. Personally, I like a quiet bike because I can cat around. I could go anywhere I want and I'm not bothering anybody. I started up in my driveway. Nobody even hears me. I guess just I'm considerate like that maybe, but who knows. I just like a quiet bike. Everything has its place. If you want a really loud, obnoxious pipes, that's cool. I'm not saying I don't like that kind of stuff. It's just I wouldn't want it for an everyday casual bike that I hop on and go around. I mean, those kind of bikes have their own purpose, right? And there's nothing wrong with them. Everything's a choice in life. If you like that kind of stuff, hey, more power to you. But I think this bike would be marketed more towards someone like me. I mean, I'm 55 years old now, I think. Yeah, 55. So I just wanted something simple. The simplicity of something like this is what sold me on it, because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get out there, hop on something, hop right off. Look, let's say I'm driving. Look how quick and easy this is. Just an example. Okay, I come to a stop, kill switch, there, turn it off, and I'm gone. Now, if I had that key fob in my pocket, if you're maybe somebody that is in the food delivery and stuff, and you just keep your key fob on you, if you walk away, I think after maybe 10-15 seconds, you can't start the bike again. But you got to have your key fob on. You never keep it on the bike. I do because I'm not going anywhere. But let's say, okay, you made your delivery, you get back on, kickstand up, boom, and you're off. That simple. And there's no complicated starting. There's no old-time choke. You don't have to let it warm up. You twist and go and you're gone, you know. So this would be a great bike if you do like DoorDash. I saw a lot of people that have this kind of bike for that purpose, which I think is a great idea. Because hell, 100 miles a gallon, you could do this all day long and you could make quite a little bit of extra money doing like a food delivery thing, right? Yep. This is more or less my fun bike. I bought it to relieve stress. I bought it just to cat around the neighborhoods, and on occasion maybe do a trip that's maybe a day trip or so. I have ridden, kind of like spent a half a day on this thing and rode out to some lakes and stuff, and I have videos on that. But I don't really make it a habit of riding this like all day long and moto camping and all that. I don't have a desire to do any of that stuff, but some of you do, and that's cool too. But heck yeah, you can do that too on this bike. This bike has been on those cannonball runs, and there's some guys that you follow right now that probably have ridden this bike across the country, so you know that's possible. It's just not something I really feel that I want to do. Maybe one day. I'm just too busy right now to be able to have that luxury to do that. Now, if you were to buy a bike like this, insurance is not too bad on it at all. Because we have Allstate, I just bundle with everything. Most insurance companies are just allowing you to bundle Progressive and stuff. But we have Allstate, and I can't even tell you what I pay on this for insurance. It's not much at all. You got to consider this bike brand new was only $5,000, so you don't have to insure it for a lot of money as far as replacement value. So your insurance isn't bad at all, in other words. But make sure you have liability, because if you do cause an accident and you damage a car, it doesn't take much to get up there in cost when you're trying to fix a car. So you got to have liability. I think by law, if you have a loan, well, I think you do at least need liability. I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, but you guys probably already know. So insurance isn't that bad. This windscreen does a pretty good job. It kind of buffers, not buffers, but throws the wind up over your head, and I always keep it in the higher position. Actually, this windscreen can go down with these two pegs. You can actually position it, but I never did that. I don't have a reason to keep it in the lower position, because I want the more of the wind to come up over my head, right? So if you are considering a bike like this, maybe for next spring or summer, this is a great bike to get back on two wheels and get out there on the road and pick it up really quickly, because it's so easy. I mean it's so light, and it's just fun. It has plenty of acceleration, believe it or not. You wouldn't think for a 150cc, but it'll get up there. It's quick. It's really quick acceleration, and you're up to like 30-40 miles an hour with anything on the road. You really are. Now, I'm not going to drag race somebody, of course, because after 40, 45, 50 miles an hour, then you start creeping up. It doesn't have that boom, that instant pickup. But right off the start, you twist it and you're gone, you know, and you don't have to worry about somebody honking their horn and saying, hey, hurry up. I mean, it's got plenty of power to it for 150cc. It really does. You still have to push the turn indicators to disable them. There's no automatic like a BMW or something. You still gotta push it. Hello. And you get a lot of looks on this thing. People stare like, what the hell is that? What is that? Is that a scooter? Is that a motorcycle? What is that? What is that? I mean, you get people, because it's really a cool looking thing. But it's a looker. Definitely a looker. I'm not. Trust me, I'm not. But this bike's a looker. So, like I said, if you just coming across this, one of my videos here, check out, I got a whole library of videos on this thing. Everything from maintenance to when I first bought it over the years. So, check them out. And like I said, if you kind of itching to get back out there on two wheels again, and you've had other bikes in the past, you know, check it out. Might be a good fit for you, because I really get a lot of joy out of this thing. And I don't have to be gone all day. I don't have to ride you know, 400 miles to enjoy life. I just get on this thing and ride around and just experience stuff like this, and it's a lot of fun, and you don't have to really feel like it's going to be a big project, you know, to get on and ride, and I don't know. That's what I was looking for. But see, I knew that going in. That's exactly the application that I was expecting when I bought this. So again, no doubts, no regrets. I already knew that, hey, it only goes about 65. Who cares? I'm not going to buy one to commute to work. I use my car for that. Although I have ridden to work on this thing, and I have a video of that, my work commute, check it out. I don't do that on a normal basis because I work 4 days a week from home. And I don't like riding when it's cold. So using this as a commuting bike is probably not going to happen. But for some of you, that's great. Some of you, you do want to use it as a commuter. Just keep in mind that highway deal. You know, with a max speed of 65, 66, 67, you got to be careful on a highway, because at that speed you have no room, you don't have any extra throttle to get out of a jam or pass somebody, okay? You really don't. And if that doesn't bother you, great. But I really stress that, because I know that, like, if I'm in a car and I'm trying to merge, there's sometimes I have to push it. I have to slam on the accelerator to get past a car or whatever, because I'm going to merge into something, right? Well, on a bike like this, you don't have that luxury. Yeehaw. So I'm going to go. See how fast? Man, I'm going 45 right now, 43. And that took me literally a couple seconds to get to that speed. So I'm able to get out in traffic, I'm able to twist the throttle, and I can ride all day long at the speed of traffic with no problem. I find myself actually going too fast sometimes, because this bike's very easy to go over the speed limit without realizing it. For some reason, it's really smooth, good aerodynamics with the shield up here. And you go, you really do, you just go. But I think it's fun to do this kind of stuff, where you just get off the main road and you just explore. That's what I love about this thing. You just don't get that same effect with being in a car, you know, in a cage they call it. This is a very upscale retirement center. My wife has some friends that I think had relative in here. But yeah, this is not cheap to live, not at all. And I think some of it is more where you're still a little bit independent. You can have a house back here, like a little condo back here, but it's more independent living. And then you got the full care for the hospitalization in the front, where people need a little more care. But these look like they're more independent living. They all look the same, but they I heard they're nice on the inside. Story Point. Well, I'm trying to think what else I have to tell you guys about this thing. I know I'm going to forget about 3 things, because hey, because I'll get comments, well, you forgot to mention this and you forgot to mention that, and I'll be like, yep, I know. Well, you can do your own research, but I like it. And like I said, I bought it specifically knowing what I liked. But this thing is so balanced nicely. It's just, I mean, I could ride with no hands. I could just keep 2 fingers on the throttle and ride all day long, and it just stays where it's supposed to stay. It's got the wider tires on it, so it's got a nice balanced feel to it. But yep, see, the tires are a little wider, so that gives it really nice balance. And you saw those indicators blink. That's because I got off the bike and it kind of it locks it after about 30 seconds, I think. But my key fob is in the bike, so I keep my keys in here. And you got this 12-volt adapter, so I run for my phone if I want to keep it plugged in. You can run wires up through here to do it the proper way, and then you can keep that plugged in to your phone. Yeah, so I bought this this little 180 rear view mirror thing, and that it helps with the blind spot. If you're in heavy traffic, you just kind of have to glance to see if make sure you looked at these mirrors, or you look at these, and that'll tell you if you got anybody in your blind spot. Not that this has blind spots, you just have to turn your head to look, but I think it's pretty cool, especially if I am in heavier traffic. You know, I could see it. But yes, you still need a motorcycle license. I covered that in a video, so you do need to have your M endorsement, your motorcycle endorsement, to ride this legally on the highway or on the roadway. I think anything over about 50 cc is required by law in most states, that you need a motorcycle license. And I think that's the key. I think it's the cc side. So check your state, but 150 cc's is definitely something you'll need a license for. But if you can see this profile, which is cool. I mean, it looks like a motorcycle, just a small motorcycle. But, you know, again, I didn't buy it because I wanted to be cool or anything. I didn't buy it thinking, oh, I'm going to get made fun of or something if I buy a Vespa or something. No, I see Vespas all the time, and the first thing I'm like, that is so cool. I love those little Vespas and stuff. So there's no reason to have us be self-conscious about a bike like this if you were to buy one. If you get to the age like I am, you could care less what people think. I could paint this bright pink and still be comfortable riding it. I don't care. I don't care. So it has a nice LCD display, time, date, mileage. I keep it on my battery voltage so I know that I have good voltage on my battery. But it does a nice job, and it lights up pretty nice at night too. It's got a horn on it, but you know, it's like a little Roadrunner horn. It's not much. You can buy a bigger horn if that's your desire, but I never use it. Never really need to use it out on the road. Nobody would hear me anyway. I think people get too caught up in specifications and stuff on bikes instead of just buying one for the enjoyment factor. Because when I rode those bikes on the demo days that I did this past summer, well, I've done it 2 summers in a row, but the bike that I liked best, honestly, was that little Ninja 400. That was the most fun bike I've ever ridden in my life, because it was a little bit heavier than this. It was only a 400cc, but it's a sport bike, so you kind of lean, you know, you got that forward facing lean, you know, or you're kind of like this. But my goodness, did that have some power to it. Just super quick, super nimble. And I'd like to have a Ninja 400 or something similar in my garage next to this, because if I was feeling energetic one day and I wanted something different, I could hop on that little sport bike and just have a lot of fun, find me some back roads. But this has its own appeal to it. It's just different, if you know what I mean. So it all depends what you want to get out of a bike, and that's why people have many bikes, right? So buy the bike that fits the need more so than all the gadgets, and I don't even care what it looks like. I mean, this is a sharp looking bike, don't get me wrong, but I'd be perfectly happy with like a Bergman 400 or something. I had a conversation with a gentleman the other day about that. I said, just, hey, get what you like, don't worry about every little detail on it. If you get what you like, you're going to ride it more often, and that's the whole purpose of buying a bike. So I hope this was helpful. Again, I've probably done a half a dozen true review videos on this thing, so look on my page. There's a review playlist, I think, about this bike. So I'm sure I'm forgetting stuff, so I apologize in advance, but go through those, look at the videos. I'm still happy with it after 2 years of ownership. No regrets whatsoever, and I'm being totally honest with you. I like the power, I like the quickness, I like the maneuverability, the lightweight, and the comfort is probably fine for my application. If I was planning on riding long commutes or Cannonball Run or something where I'm going to go around across the country, then I would upgrade the seat. You can buy a nice Corbin seat for about $500 and then you're set. It's an awesome seat from what I hear, but I don't want to invest that yet because I don't need that yet. I don't have the amount of mileage that I ride. I don't need an aftermarket seat right now. This is fine. But after you're on this thing for about an hour, I'm done. I mean, I love riding it, but I don't need anything more than that really to get my fix, if you know what I mean. So again, thanks guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, give me a shout, and we'll see you on the next one.